Right. So we've got some pretty intense news coming out of Ukraine. They used U.S. long-range missiles, like actually inside Russia.
Yeah, for the first time.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Huge.
Yeah, and we are talking like ATACMS missiles.
Yeah.
Those can hit targets like over 180 miles away.
That's a long way.
That's a long way.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty major escalation in the conflict. So we're going to take a deep dive into it. Like, what does it mean?
Yeah.
You know, what are people saying? What might happen next? What are the long-term implications? All that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. The stakes have definitely been raised. And yeah, you said it right there. Escalation's the key word here. Raises all sorts of concerns about retaliation and even, I hate to even say it, but even the potential use of nuclear weapons.
Okay, so let's break down the Ukrainian attack itself. What do we know?
Well, we know they were aiming for Russia's Bryansk region.
Right.
And of the 6 missiles that were launched, 5 of them were intercepted, but one did hit a military site, cause a fire.
Oh, wow. And you know what? This wasn't just any missile.
Exactly.
We're talking about the ATACMS.
Right. The Army Tactical Missile System.
So those are a big deal because it means the U.S. is supplying Ukraine with much more powerful weapons than they've had before. Stuff that can reach further and do more damage. So what was Russia's response? I bet they weren't too happy.
Oh, you can bet they weren't. President Putin, he didn't mince words. He basically lowered the threshold for Russia using nukes.
Hold on. Lowered the threshold? What does that even mean? Break that down for us.
Okay, so basically, Russia is now saying that if a country gives Ukraine substantial military support, and they specifically called out the U.S., that could be seen as, get this, collective aggression. And that collective aggression could justify a nuclear response.
Whoa. So even though we're not like boots on the ground in Ukraine, just sending them weapons like these ATCMS could be enough to trigger a nuclear response from Russia.
That's what they're saying, yeah. Now, whether they actually mean it or if this is just a scare tactic, like a way to intimidate the West into backing off support for Ukraine, well, that's a whole other question.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty scary either way. What's the rest of the world saying about all this?
Well, like you might expect, it's kind of split down the middle. The West, they're condemning Russia's new nuclear stance, calling it, irresponsible, reckless, and obviously dangerous. But Moscow, they're firing back, talking about consequences and hinting at retaliation if the West keeps helping Ukraine.
So this is like way bigger than just Ukraine now. This is a global thing with global consequences. So for the listener out there who might be thinking, well, this is all happening over there, why should I care? Like, what would you say to them?
I'd say wake up and smell the radioactive coffee. This isn't some far-off problem. We're talking about global power dynamics, nuclear threats, things that could affect every single person on this planet.
Yeah. I mean, just think about it. The potential for things to escalate, miscalculations, even accidents. We could end up in a full-blown nuclear war, and that would be catastrophic for everyone, no matter where you live.
Absolutely. And then even if we manage to avoid that worst-case scenario, there's still the impact on the global economy, trade, stability, everything. And let's not forget the psychological toll of living under this constant threat.
Yeah, not to mention the environmental fallout.
Exactly. This is a powerful reminder that we live in a connected world, and what happens in one corner of the globe can have ripple effects that reach everywhere else.
So just to sum up, Ukraine, using those U.S. ATACMS missiles, has seriously escalated this conflict. Russia's response is alarming.
Yeah, it's definitely put the whole world on edge.
For sure. And I guess the big question now is, where do we go from here?
Right. What can the international community do to de-escalate this? How do we prevent things from spiraling even further out of control?
Yeah, like how do we get back from the brink and find a way to peace?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's one that we all need to be thinking about very, very seriously.
How about it?
Because the future of humanity might depend on it.
Definitely.